You ever notice how sometimes women say one thing, but their eyes, their tone, their presence, they're saying something else entirely? It's not that they're lying. It's that what truly drives human behavior often lives underneath the surface. And if you're a man who's trying to understand women, not just react to them, you're already ahead of most. Today, we're diving into something that most men will never fully grasp. I'm not talking about tricks. I'm not talking about cheesy pickup lines. I'm talking about deep inner awareness. The kind of awareness that Stoic men cultivated for centuries. And what we're going to explore are the subtle emotional cracks in the armor, the soft spots, the quiet vulnerabilities, the true feminine weaknesses most guys miss, but a Stoic man understands. Not to exploit, but to connect, wisely, to lead, responsibly, to love, deeply. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you won't just know these feminine patterns, you'll feel them, you'll sense them, and your relationships, they'll never be the same. Let's begin. Here's what most men miss. Women often walk through the world carrying a weight, a pressure to have it all together, the smile, the posture, the charm. But behind that curated exterior, there's often a deep craving to be seen, not just looked at, seen. And most guys, they only offer surface-level attention. They compliment her appearance, her outfit, her laugh, but they miss what she's not saying. They miss the moment her eyes lower when she talks about her dad, or how her tone shifts when she mentions her last relationship. A Stoic man, he notices, not emotionally reactive, just quietly present. When you notice the things she hides and hold space for them without trying to fix her or impress her, you become different. She won't even know why she feels drawn to you, but she will. That's the power of steady presence. Here's a truth that makes some modern minds uncomfortable. Feminine energy is drawn to masculine direction, not control. Direction. When you walk into a room and you're grounded, when your mind isn't scattered, when your voice is measured, you don't need to talk louder. You don't need to prove anything. She feels it. In fact, one of the deepest feminine vulnerabilities is uncertainty. And when you radiate calm certainty, not because you're arrogant, but because you've done the inner work, you become a lighthouse in her emotional storm. That's where attraction lives, not in being nice, not in being overbearing, but in being unshakable. That is Stoic energy, and she feels it. Look, no matter how independent a woman is, there is often a longing deep within her to surrender, to let go, to relax into someone else's leadership. But she'll never surrender to someone she doesn't trust, and she won't trust someone who can't even lead himself. This is why your discipline matters, your integrity, your emotional control. It's not just for you, it's for the safety of your future relationship. Because when a woman feels that she can finally exhale around you, that you won't crumble when things get tough, that you won't lash out, that you know who you are, she lets down her guard. And that vulnerability, that's not weakness, that's trust. But that trust, it's earned. Always. Ever feel like she's testing you? Good. She is. Because here's the truth. A woman will test a man not to torment him, but to know him. To feel if his strength is real or just an act. She may throw a little emotional chaos your way, challenge your views, say something cold just to see how you react. But the Stoic man, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't fight her back. He doesn't grovel. He just remains. Because he understands something most men don't. That test is not rejection. It's revelation. She's not hoping you'll lose control. She's hoping you won't. And when you pass that test, not with arrogance, but with quiet mastery, she looks at you differently. Like, finally, a man who won't bend. Every strong man offers one thing without saying a word: emotional leadership. What does that mean? It means you regulate your own emotions. You don't wait for her mood to decide yours. You're not a leaf in the wind. You don't match her drama with more drama. And in doing that, you lead the emotional tone of the relationship. Now, this isn't about shutting her down or being emotionally cold. No, it's about you being the one who slows things down when she speeds them up. It's you saying, "Hey, I see you're feeling a lot. Let's take a breath." She may resist it at first, but over time, she'll lean on it. Because deep inside, even if she doesn't say it, she wants to feel safe enough to lose her cool and trust that you won't. That's emotional leadership. That's a masculine gift. Women don't want to be your therapist, your savior, your emotional support system. They want to be chosen, desired, seen as a partner in your already meaningful life. One of the biggest feminine vulnerabilities is being with a man who's looking for a mother, not a queen. That's why your purpose matters, your solitude matters, your discipline, your ambition. It all signals that you don't need her, but you've chosen her. And that changes everything. Because when a woman feels that she's walking beside a man who already stands on solid ground, she relaxes, she glows, she lets her guard down. Because your strength tells her, you're safe here. It's not about grand gestures. Not every woman wants roses and poems and candlelit dinners. What touches a woman deeply, what opens her, is often the small things. It's when you remember what she said last week, when you notice the way she looks when she's tired but doesn't admit it, when you know when to speak and when just to hold her hand in silence. You see, women have a sensitivity to emotional detail, but they rarely feel recognized. A Stoic man doesn't need to constantly express his emotions, but when he chooses to speak, to affirm, to appreciate, to acknowledge, his words carry weight. And that weight, that rare depth of attention, it opens her. So many women walk around anxious, not because they're naturally anxious, but because they've been with men who were inconsistent. One day warm, the next day cold, passionate one minute, distant the next. And that inconsistency, it makes her question everything, herself, her worth, her intuition. So when a man enters her world who is consistent, not perfect, not robotic, but reliable, she begins to trust again. Your words match your actions. Your tone doesn't shift. Based on your mood, you show up when you say you will. And that reliability? It melts defenses. It heals wounds. Because in a world full of noise, you become her signal. This is a delicate one. Many men think women want to be pursued endlessly, held tightly, kept close. But there's a tension here. Women want to feel needed, but never owned. They want to feel like they matter, that they're essential to your life, but also that they're free. A Stoic man understands this. He knows how to hold a woman without gripping her. He knows how to love her without losing himself. And when a woman senses that you value her, without depending on her, she respects you, admires you, desires you. That's the paradox. You love her completely and let her fly. And because of that, she never wants to leave. Look, the modern world has lost touch with real masculinity. Not dominance, not coldness, but quiet, consistent, unwavering presence. And most men, they'll never understand these deeper feminine patterns. They'll chase, they'll beg, they'll manipulate, and they'll wonder why nothing lasts. But you're learning to see differently, to live differently, to become the kind of man who doesn't need games because he embodies gravity, he radiates calm, he leads with heart. And that kind of man, he doesn't chase weakness, he attracts trust. So walk the path, stay steady, let the world spin around you while you stand still. Because that's where real power lives, and she will feel it, even if she never fully understands why.